1961. The world was still in the midst of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were engaged in a global power struggle, with each side vying for influence and control over different regions of the world. But one country made America a little too scared that they tried to invade them and overthrow the government.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Spaced, and today we're gonna guess which country made the United States invade them because they were communist in the early 1960s. A. North Korea, B. Vietnam, C. China, or D. Cuba. Yes, Cuba, the Bay of Pigs.
Bay of Pigs invasion was a covert operation led by the United States with the aim of overthrowing Fidel Castro's government in Cuba. In 1959, Castro had seized power in Cuba after a successful revolution and had aligned himself with the Soviet Union. The United States saw Cuba as a threat to its national security and feared that it would become a communist base in the Western Hemisphere. In early 1960, the Central Intelligence Agency, aka the CIA, began planning the Bay of Pigs invasion. The plan was to train and arm a group of Cuban exiles and send them to Cuba to overthrow Castro's government. The operation was codenamed Operation Pluto. The planning for the Bay of Pigs invasion was very complex and involved multiple phases. The first phase involved recruiting and training the Cuban exiles in the United States. The second phase involved building a base in Guatemala where the exiles could train and organize themselves. The final phase involved the actual invasion of Cuba. On April 17, 1961, the invasion began. A group of around 1,500 Cuban exiles landed on the beaches of the Bay of Pigs, a remote area on the southern coast of Cuba. However, the invasion quickly went wrong. The exiles were outnumbered and outgunned by the Cuban military, who had been expecting an attack. The US government had promised air support to the exiles, but then pulled out at the last minute, leaving the poor guys stranded on the beach with no backup. The invasion was a total failure. The exiles were either killed, captured, or forced to flee into the countryside. The United States suffered a major embarrassment on the international stage, and the Cuban government was able to strengthen its ties with the Soviet Union. Looking back at it now, it's hard not to laugh at the sheer audacity of the US government's plan. It's like they were trying to recreate a Three Stooges sketch, but with real guns and real consequences. But let's be real, we all make mistakes, and the Bay of Pigs invasion was a big one for the US government. The aftermath of the Bay of Pigs invasion was significant. The United States was forced to negotiate with the Cuban government for the release of the captured exiles. The Soviet Union used the invasion as a pretext to increase its military support for Cuba, leading to the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. The Bay of Pigs invasion also led to a reassessment of the United States' foreign policy towards Latin America, with the Kennedy administration adopting a more cautious approach to intervention. The invasion also had a lasting impact on the Cuban government and its relationships with the Soviet Union. And that is all. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment down below, and like always, in the description there will always be more information, and I will see you guys out in the wasteland. Goodbye.